Hey kiddies, it's Triple Feature Tuesday once again, and Black History Month continues as we look at 3 movies featuring Mercs trying to get to diamonds.
Diamonds are forever.
That's right. It's still Black Awesomeness month, and while all of these movies are set in Africa and feature mercenaries, ex-military turned soldiers of fortune, trying to get to diamonds in some way, shape, or form, the genres of the movies are really all over the place and fun because we have, serious political thriller, we have a 60s exploitation movie, and then we have just a sci-fi piece of crap B-movie, but they're all interesting in their own way, and this is one of the few times where the order presented in the triple feature is going to have to be the order that you watch them, or else the whole thing falls apart. So, our menu is going to include Blood Diamond, The Dark of the Sun, and Congo. Blood Diamond is an Edward Zwick film from 2006 that was set in 1999 during the height of civil unrest in Sierra Leone. This is definitely the most serious film on the list, and probably the most depressing when you see what happens in the movie and realize that a lot of this stuff actually did happen. Caught in the middle of in a conflict between the government of Sierra Leone and one of the rebel factions, the Revolutionary United Front, are many people just trying to go about their day and raise their family, including Solomon Vandy, played by the always incredible Jamin Hansu. Really big fan of this guy, and this might be my favorite performance by him. Don't get me wrong, he's really cool in Constantine, and he's played a lot of great epic roles, but his Solomon Vandy his character gets put through the ringer. His village is destroyed by the Revolutionary United Front. He's separated from his family. He's put into slave labor to get diamonds to fund the Revolutionary United Front, and it's during this time that he comes across the titular blood diamond, a diamond with a pinkish hue that makes it a diamond of extreme value. Only he knows where it is, and this makes him a person of interest to all sorts of unsavory people, like Captain Poison of the Revolutionary United Front, who gets his hands on Solomon's son and starts raising him to be a child soldier in the RUF, which is basically that section of the Ninja Turtles where all the kids of New York were being raised to be members of the Foot Clan, except much more graphic, drug-filled, and based on real-life events. Child soldiers exist. On the other hand of the spectrum, Vandy becomes a person of interest to Danny Archer, played by Leonardo DiCaprio in a marked Afrikaans accent. A noted diamond smuggler. They end up joining forces, Archer promising Vandy to help him reunite with his family and give him a split of the diamond money, and Danny just wanting the diamond and to get the hell out of Africa. It's a really, really tense action thriller performed by an incredible cast. Always wonderful Jennifer Connelly. She really just glows throughout this whole movie as the well-meaning liberal American journalist. The actor that plays Captain Poison is an English actor named David Harwood that if you watch, he's on Homeland now, but one of the main antagonists in the last episode of Doctor Who with David Tennant. He's the rich guy financing everything. And really, really creepy. And also Arnold Vosloo, who is actually from South Africa, playing a South African mercenary. And the bulk of the movie is in the form of sort of a road trip of Vandy and Archer making their way to get to this diamond. And it's very, very exciting. The sequence where everything goes to hell in Freetown is very disturbing because when you think about how quickly things can go wrong. And we start with this movie because this is, as with all terrible triple features, you should always be drinking throughout this, and you're gonna want to start off with the grimmest of the films. That way, it just gets progressively lighter and more ridiculous as you get more inebriated. Next up, we have Dark of the Sun, which is a historical fiction film. It is based in part on real events. It is set in the Congo during the Simba Revolution, and we follow Rod Taylor as Captain Curry and his right-hand man Rufo, who is from the Congo, played by the one, the only, Jim Brown. Jim Brown, as always, is just completely epic, as is Rod Taylor. I had only really seen him in The Time Machine and The Birds before this, but he's really just brutally manly and just good times. There's a lot more similarities between these three movies than you would think at first blush. All throughout it, we'll see the pairs of native African people teamed up with white people from different areas. Annie Archer in Blood Diamond was from Zimbabwe. Andy was from Sierra Leone, where most of the action takes place. Curry, who we're not exactly sure where he hails from, but Rufo is is from what was then the Congo. The then president of the Congo, President Yubi, has tasked Curry and Rufo to go up to a secluded town in the Katanga province to rescue the townspeople from the impending Simba revolution. But they also have the side and/or main mission of rescuing all the diamonds that are in the vault up there, so that the government can continue being funded. And while Curry is just, his priority is on the diamonds because that's what the job really is to him, Rufo, you'll find throughout the film, is much more concerned about the people and the safety of his country and his country's future. And again, this is going to be a recurring theme throughout these films. In Blood Diamond, Danny is all he's concerned about is the diamond, and Vandy is more concerned about the well-being of his family and his country. It's interesting that there's a lot more cohesion between these three movies than you'd think. This one is a flat-out exploitation movie, and it was highly criticized at the time for being so violent. You get these really great sequences right in the beginning. Curry and his mercenaries are traveling on a steam train, and they end up having to fight the UN because the UN hasn't really been informed about their mission because they're trying to keep it hush-hush because of the diamond angle. And you get train versus plane violence. Curry fighting one of his subordinates, played by Peter Karsten. Heinlein is a member of the Congolese army, but he was a Nazi and will proudly wear a swastika medal that he won during the Second World War. If this didn't make you hate him instantly, he's just a jerk to everybody, and so he and Curry get into a fight, which includes at different points a chainsaw and trying to run over somebody with a train. This is all before everything goes completely wrong, and the Simbas overrun the town, and Curry and Rufo have to find a way to get the diamonds out of it. And the major complaints of the violence in the film were about this sequence because the Simbas have basically turned the town into hell on earth. All the people that they aren't flat out killing, they're raping, and it's very violent and it's very interesting, and it's very much of the time. Jim Brown, member of the Dirty Dozen, starred in a whole slew of exploitation movies and is just fantastic. But oddly enough, the real star of the movie might actually be Jacques Lussier, French musician who composed the soundtrack, because it's very, very interesting. It's a progressive jazz, and I had listened to the soundtrack by itself before I even saw the movie. Quentin Tarantino used portions of it in Inglourious Basterds, which is how I found out about this movie. It's a bizarre counterpoint to the extreme images that you're going to see on the film, that it just makes the movie all the more entertaining to watch. By this point in your triple feature, you should be good and lubricated alcohol-wise in preparation for our last film, and it doesn't hold up well at all from when I was 14 years old. Congo, based on the Michael Crichton novel of the same name, this came fairly hot on the heels of Jurassic Park in terms of let's cash in on the Michael Crichton fever. Uh, this movie is just a big hot mess, and that's even before everything gets encased in molten hot lava. Laura Linney plays an employee of a high-tech communications firm that has lost an expedition into the Congo in search of these rare blue diamonds that are going to be the future of the communications industry. And by future, I mean lasers. There are lasers within 5 minutes, wielded by none other than the one, the only, the Chin, Bruce Campbell. And unfortunately, Bruce will not be in the rest of the movie. His part is there to show up and scream, which, I mean, not that there's anything Bruce does poorly, but he does this with great aplomb. So Laura Linney needs to find out what happened to her man, and or find the diamond, which her employer, played by an especially sleazy Joe Don Baker, is much more concerned with. So she hitches a ride with a charmless primatologist, played by an equally charmless Dylan Walsh, and his Romanian philanthropist financier, played by Tim Curry, in what may be the worst accent I've ever heard Tim Curry do. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the man. I will watch him do anything, and most of the times he does it well. Tim Curry's accent in this movie is like listening to Boris Badenov try to sing Ochichornia with a mouth. And Walsh and Curry are trying to take Walsh's talking gorilla back to the jungle in the Congo, where she'll be happy. Amy, the talking gorilla, they taught the gorilla sign language, and then they put the power glove on her hand that will actually translate her sign language into words. So we have a talking gorilla, a asshole primatologist, a sleazy Romanian Tim Curry, and Laura Linney on a plane to Africa. Now, we're not even through the first half hour of this thing, folks. They get to Africa. I should mention that Tim Curry's not really caring about the gorilla. Surprise, surprise. He thinks the gorilla has seen the lost city of Zinj, a city that was built around King Solomon's diamond mines, and the diamonds flow like wine. So that's really his plan. They all get to Africa, where they are teamed up with Monroe Kelly, played by Ernie Hudson. And I'm not even slightly joking or being facetious when I say Ernie Hudson is the goddamn best thing about this movie. He is incredible. He's basically doing this Peter O'Toole impression throughout the entire film, and he sells it, and it's beautiful. I really, I could watch a whole spin-off movie of just Monroe Kelly doing things. And so they end up taking rafts, cars, and planes into the Congo to find either people or diamonds, depending on who you ask is part of this expedition. It's really terrible, but then you get these really great little moments. Basically, any moment with Ernie Hudson. Joe Pantoliano, is in there for 2 whole scenes, and he's great. Delroy Lindo has an uncredited cameo as Captain Wanta, and he steals the show and created the meme, "Stop eating my sesame cake." And I swear to God, if there had been a third movie, we would be watching the Delroy Lindo uncredited goofy accent triple feature, which would have been Congo, Devil's Advocate, and something else, but I can't find it. Eventually, they find the city, and things go really, really terrible when they're attacked by gorillas or people in really, really bad gorilla costumes, depending on, if you want to be nice to the movie. It's you're going to need a lot of alcohol to get through this, but all these movies sort of work together with the similar themes of black people and white people teaming up to save other people and or diamonds at the same time in Africa. So watch those three and have a happy Valentine's Day, and I'll see you guys next week.